Welcome, my amazing students. Glad you could join me again. My name is Stacey Ann Murray, and today we'll be talking about the introductory paragraph and what it entails. Now, come with me on this journey. Students, your introductory paragraph is extremely important. Why? Because it sets the tone for the entire paper and it introduces your reader to your argument. In almost all cases, you want to be sure the paragraph has the following components. One, a thesis statement, and two, a preview to how you will make your argument. Now, remember, guys, you want to ensure that you start well. Because if you start well, it means you understand and it means you know where you're going and where you'd want your readers to go with you. So, yet again, let us go a little further on this matter. My amazing learners, no, there are some common problems that are often made when it comes to the introductory paragraph. The first problem that is often made is no thesis statement. Now, remember, guys, your thesis statement is important, and we spoke about that the last time, amazing learners. Remember that your thesis statement needs to be an argument, not simply a yes or no response to the question. What will you argue? What will your paper be about? Amazing learners, within the thesis statement or in the next sentence, you must say something about why you're making that argument. Also, guys, be bold and direct about your thesis statement. Amazing learners, own the thesis statement. Don't beat about around the bush with lots of qualifying statements. And then at the end of the day, your introductory paragraph does not contain a thesis statement. Amazing learners, your thesis statement is important because it sets the tone for your essay and it has to be included in the introductory paragraphs. Now, as we transition, I'll also highlight some other errors you should not make in the. My amazing learners, another mistake that we tend to make in the introductory paragraph is not giving any indication to the reader of how the argument will be made. In addition to the what question, which is what will you argue? Amazing learners, there needs to be the how question. How will you make your argument? Your introductory paragraph should say something about the logic, evidence, or points you will present in support of your thesis. For example, my amazing learners, your thesis is this: vaccination, which are critical to the control and eradication of deadly infections, diseases, should be mandatory without exception for every student in the country who wants to attend school. Now, what this thesis statement is saying is that vaccinations are very important. They control the spread of diseases as well as they help to get rid of diseases. And no child of school age should be exempted from receiving vaccinations. Now, this argument is a strong one, amazing learners. So it means that you would have to have done some research in order to present your argument in a believable way. So the what, of course, is through your essay, and the how is by the incorporation of a thesis statement and the provision of evidence, which is either statistical, definitions, you name it. So you have to ensure that you know where you're going with your writing. And because many times students are not focused, they do not give an indication of where they're going. And as I reminded you the last time, the thesis statement is highly important. It's the foundation for your writing. Another issue that is often made is opening the paper with a discussion of the nature of the universe. Now, amazing learners, I implore you, please, do not start your paper with huge sweeping statements about the world. cut to the chase. What material are you engaging? Who is making what argument? What do you have to say about those arguments? So it means that you have to have done some research to know what is being said about the topic that you're writing about. And you need to ensure that you understand what your thesis statement is saying so that you know what to write. So if it is that you have done research and someone in the medical field has spoken about it, then that will inform your writing to say who is making what argument. My amazing learners, ensure that you're focused, ensure that you're direct, ensure that you would have owned the thesis from the beginning so that you can own the introductory paragraph and make a valid and solid statement before you go into the depth of your writing. Because if there's confusion in your introductory paragraph, I can assure you there'll be confusion in the rest of your writing as well. So be direct, be focused, and own what you're writing about. My amazing learners, another issue that sometimes appear in the introductory paragraph is sloppy punctuation. Now, this is not only with introductory paragraphs, but with essay and writing overall. So don't frustrate your reader by forgetting to proofread for basic grammar problems. Use the apostrophe for possessives like Thomas's, but don't use apostrophes to say the possessive it's, as in its. Learn how to use the comma. If you aren't sure when to use a comma, refer to a style manual or consult Google, which will offer you some guidance as to how to do punctuation. So it's important that you get this because it will serve as a distraction to your reader when they realize that you are not punctuating properly. So instead of them getting the substance from your writing, they are proofreading your writing, which is what you should have done before publishing, which is submitting your paper. Another issue that is often seen in the introductory paragraph is imprecise word choices. You always want to avoid words that are vague, words like problematic. And many times, because we want to sound a little bit brighter than usual, we may use certain words, but then at the end of the day, it poses a challenge to your reader. So your reader will immediately have questions about your meaning. Okay, what is problematic? What is this person trying to say? And of course, they will lose the essence of your paper as they continue to read because they're trying to process what you could possibly mean by using a particular word. So ensure that the words that you're using are not vague and the words that you're using gives an explanation and allow your reader to understand and know where you're going. So be as specific as possible. So for example, instead of writing Forrester's argument is problematic, which in actuality it doesn't say much because how is Forrester's argument problematic? Think about what aspect of Forrester's argument there is a problem. So you want to, before you write, say to yourself, is Forrester's argument inaccurate, inconsistent, incoherent, or just plain ridiculous? And based on your interpretation, then you're going to write with the selected word choice to convey what you're saying to your readers. You don't want to frustrate them. And yes, you want to excite them by retaining their interest, but you also want to ensure that they understand what it is you are saying. And many times, because we're unclear about where we want to go in our writing, we select words that sometimes add no meaning or have no value to what it is we're saying. And another issue that we often see in introductory paragraphs is overuse of quotations. Now, it is usually best not to begin or end your introductory paragraph with a quotation. Why? Because amazing learners, you're going to weaken your argument by relying on someone else's words so early on your paper. So if you do quote in the first paragraph, make sure it is short and to the point. So your entire piece is not going to be filled with quotation from researches that you would have conducted. No. You need to allow your reader to understand that you know what you're talking about. And as I said before, if you use a quotation, no more than one, because you want the reader to get the impression and to understand that it is your words coming out, it is your writing that they are reading, and you want your readers to understand that you are making a statement. You want to relate to your readers. Remember, guys, your introductory paragraph is almost like you selling your paper, selling your argument, and getting your readers to buy into where you are going. Now, you may be thinking, all right, I have a lot to process here. True. But if you understand each of these points, then you should have no issue as you move to write. You should have no issue as you process what it is you want to write. So if you select your words properly and you avoid the overuse of quotations, then of course you'll be on your way to having an excellent paper. And that, of course, is very, very, very important, amazing learners, to the piece for delivery. Amazing learners, in concluding, let me remind you that you need to ensure that your introductory paragraph has a thesis statement, that you indicate to your readers how the argument will be made. 3, that your opening is specific and not general in nature. And 4, your punctuation is not done sloppy. 5, you use specific word choices, words that will not be vague or confuse your readers, because this is important. And lastly, do not overuse quotations. You want your readers to know what it is that you're saying and not what others have been saying. Join me next time as I help you to understand a little bit more on another area